I was under the impression that buying this was actually going to help it. Spoiler alert, it does not. Okay, I am making this video because I'm livid. Long story short, I lost $500. Well, I didn't lose $500, but I spent $500 on this, and this is useless to me. So, watch this video before you buy a $500 retainer or mouth guard. They call it a mouth guard, but it's like a retainer, so I don't know the difference, but please watch this video and listen to my experience before you buy one. And I'm not saying that no one should ever buy one, because obviously there are some instances where you might legitimately need one that's from the dentist. But from my personal experience, this is I literally took $500 and flushed it down the toilet. That is what I did by purchasing this. So, let's just get into it. I didn't even say welcome back to Veggies by EOS because I'm so mad. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with saying I have TMJ, supposedly, from this one dentist. According to him, I have TMJ. So do I actually have TMJ? I don't know. I should probably get a second opinion. So for those of you that don't know, TMJ, this is from what I've heard, not 100% sure it's true, but it sounds like TMJ is hereditary, but, oh, my neighbor's, watching me. But you need to, do something to, activate it, so, fall on your jaw or overuse your jaw. So my mom has TMJ, my sister has TMJ. My sister's became active when she fell on her bike as a little kid. I think she was 8 or something. She's had jaw problems ever since then. My uncle fell on, he was roller skating or something, fell on his jaw, developed TMJ. I play saxophone, and I'm in grad school right now. I played a ton of saxophone in my undergrad, never had any jaw problems at all, ever. So I don't know. Long story short, started grad school, started practicing more. Over this past summer, I practiced about 2 hours a day, and then once grad school started, I upped it to 3 hours a day, and on top of that, I was going to lessons. So I take jazz lessons, classical lessons, jazz band, and quartet. So those are 4 things that I'm playing my saxophone for on top of practicing for 3 hours a day. So that is kind of a big jump to go from 2 to 3 hours a day. So that was causing, my jaw to be overused, basically. Again, this dentist told me I have TMJ, and I think I do based on what happened and how my jaw was feeling and everything. It hurts to chew, hurts to open my, I can't really open my jaw all the way. So I'm pretty sure I legitimately do have TMJ. Anyway, figured out I had TMJ, kind of freaked out. And since my sister has TMJ, I know that she has some sort of mouth guard thing that was really expensive from her dentist. And my sister has, more issues going on. I don't really know all the details. I would call her right now and ask, but she's at work, and I just need to film this video. I'm just so mad. I'm so mad. My current insurance, which is unbelievably overpriced, kill me. Anyway, does not include dental insurance, so I knew that them just checking my mouth, all that, that was not going to be included in dental insurance, but they said that would cost, I think, $76 or $80, which I was like, well, if I figure out if I have TMJ, I'll spend the $80. So anyway, after he told me I have TMJ, he basically said how if you have TMJ, this is the only solution. You need to buy a mouth guard from us. He made it sound he literally said, this is the only solution. He's like, you have TMJ, but we can help you. This is the solution. And just since I knew my sister had one, I was like, okay, that's a lot of money. It was $460, because I asked, well, how much is it? And it was $460. So in my head, I had 2 options. Being, 1, go home, think about it, come back and get it, or 2, just get it right now. Those, in my head, just the way they talked to me and said how this is what you need to get. In my head, that was my only 2 options, to either get it right then and there, or go home, think about it, come right back and get it. And plus, this happened at a time where my jaw pain was pretty bad, and I was under the impression that buying this was actually going to help it. Spoiler alert, it does not. But anyway, in my head, I was like, you know, my jaw pain's really bad. It didn't hurt to play saxophone, but it, like, if I would practice for an hour, it would hurt pretty bad after, and like I said, it would hurt to eat, it would hurt to even open my mouth really at all. And he did tell me that, like, I don't have to quit playing saxophone or anything, and that, you know, playing saxophone isn't going to make it terrible, but obviously playing saxophone wasn't helping my situation. In case you're wondering, like, oh, why did you just buy it on the spot? You should have went home and done your research. No, I agree with you. I should have went home and done my research, and I hate myself for not going home and doing my research. I'm seriously so mad at myself. You have no idea. So, stupid me didn't go home to do my research. I was like, sure, I'll drop $460 on this thing. You're claiming it's gonna help. My jaw pain's currently pretty bad. Here's your money, or here's my money. So they actually made it the same day. I went later that day to pick it up, and before I went home, they put it in my mouth and they were like, does it fit? And I was, you know, I don't know what they're supposed to feel like. So I was like, it goes on my teeth and it's pretty tight. Like, does that mean it fits? And they were basically like, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of, they did adjust it a little bit, because I was like, oh, it's like a little tight. So they adjusted it like once a little bit, and I was like, oh, like, okay, I guess this is my mouth guard. And okay, which, by the way, when I went to pick it up, they did not have the actual doctor check the fit. They just had one of the assistants. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So, and when I was there, I didn't really think anything of it, but some people have told me, you know, after the fact, like, yo, the doctor should have checked it in your mouth before you walked out the door. And I was like, you're right. Why didn't the doctor check it in my mouth before I walked out the door? So that's another complaint. The doctor should have checked, because fast forward a few days, I go back in to get it fixed again because it's like way too tight. And then the doctor looked at it, and like, I go back in, so this is the third time I'm there now. So the first time getting it adjusted though, I guess. I was there so many times. So anyway, I'm getting it adjusted. This is the first time the doctor saw it in my mouth, and the lady had adjusted it even more. She made it even less tight. I don't know what they're doing to it. And put it in my mouth, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, that's still too tight. So I'm like, okay, you're telling me that she adjusted it twice now. The first day I was there, and now she adjusted it again, and it's still too tight. So you're telling me you could have just looked at this the first day I was here, said it was too tight, and potentially fixed the problem, and I wouldn't have needed to come back. So that kind of made me a little bit mad, but I was like, whatever, they're fixing it, we'll be good, I'll have it fixed. And they definitely did make it looser. Like, I put it in my mouth, and I was like, okay, it definitely fits better. And like, the doctor looked at it, and he's like, I think that's good. Like, is it still too tight? And I was like, I think so, but maybe it is supposed to feel tight. So I was like, I don't know if it's actually too tight, or if it, you know, if it's what it should be. He's like, you know what, let me make it a little bit looser, then you should be good. And I was like, sounds good, cool. I go home. Okay, well, I didn't even mention, sorry, the story's a little bit all over the place, but I didn't even mention that the reason I went back in the first place to get it fixed or loosened was because it was giving me so many problems. It caused, the first night I wore it, and I only wore it for like 2 or 3 hours the first night, because I think I went to bed at 11 and I woke up around 2:30. And I woke up at 2:30 because it was causing so much pain, particularly on my front 4 teeth, but like, the pain that I felt from this was worse than my TMJ pain. And I was like, this is a problem. Like, this is legitimately worse than my TMJ pain. This hurts really bad. This can't be right. And so that was why I went back in the first place. So, you know, here I am. I'm back at home. Tried for a few more nights, and they did mention that it will feel tight the first few nights. So I was like, okay, I have to keep that in mind. It is supposed to feel tight the first few nights. But I'm like, at the same time, should it be so tight to the point that it's waking me up in the middle of the night? So, you know, I was still pretty concerned, but yeah, so I wore it for 3 nights in a row. The pain was definitely much, much better than it was from that first time I tried it. Because let me tell you, the first time I tried it, I remember it was a Thursday night and I had my lesson the next day. My lesson was at noon. And I wore it from 11 p.m. until about 2:30 a.m. like I told you. And the pain was so bad that I still had a little bit of pain in my front two teeth by my lesson. It was like pretty much gone by then, but I do remember going to my lesson thinking, wow, it's 12 whole hours later and my teeth still hurt. Like, that's not normal. So that was a side note. So, you know, it's definitely looser and not as painful, but still painful. And not only is it tight and painful, but like it didn't feel like it fit right in my mouth. And I finally sat down and really thought about it, and I was like, what is causing me problems? Like, what is wrong with this thing? And then I realized what it was. I was like, I figured out that I could, if it's more tilted up this way, I should zoom in. More tilted up this way, not that drastically, but you get the point, that it fit my like back teeth better. But if it was more angled this way, fit basically this front area better. So I was like, okay, so I can't physically put it in my mouth where it's like perfectly along all my teeth. I have to either adjust it to be on my back teeth or adjust it to be on my front teeth. And I figured the main reason with that was because this angle was just wrong on my front two teeth. The reason why I could be making this up, but the reason why I think the angle is a little bit pushed back on my front two teeth is when they took the impression, like they put the stuff in my teeth to mold my teeth. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever had your teeth molded. And they told me to bite down, so I bit down, but they told me to bite down for like a second. So I bit down for a second, then they told me to release, and then they continued to hold it for like, 2 minutes or whatever. But while they were holding it, I think they might have like, again, I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure the mold they made of my teeth is just wrong, like completely, and that's why this fits like so weird, because like they made the mold kind of more upright, if that makes sense. I'm probably not even making any sense. But I figured all of this out, figured out the rocking thing, figured out that like it's kind of loose in some areas but way too tight in some areas. Like, I get that overall it's supposed to be a little bit tight the first few days, but like I'm talking about it's like way too tight near the front, and then near the back it's like kind of just chilling, like not even tight at all whatsoever, at all, literally. Oh, bye. So I figure all this out, and I was like, I'm gonna go there, because I called them again to like explain some of that. I did explain a good amount of that over the phone, but I was like, I'm like, this doesn't fit right. Like, is there any way you can look at it again? Because it does not fit right. So they said, yeah, that's fine, you can come in later today. So I go in again. So this is the fourth time being there, but the third time of them like readjusting it. Well, I guess it's the second time I went to get readjusted. Doesn't matter. I'm back at the dentist again, and I explained all that stuff, and I just talked through it pretty quickly to you guys, but I tried to explain it to this lady. Again, it's the assistant, it's not the doctor helping me, it's an assistant. I tried to explain all of that, and she was doing a little bit at a time, because they don't want to take off too much and then it's too loose, but like, she kept doing it, and I was like, it's still really tight on my front teeth, and she kept doing more stuff. And then in my head, I'm like, I wonder what part of it she's adjusting, because like the problem is like inside of here needs to be adjusted on my front teeth. And what I realized that she was doing, just since I was there, and I was like, literally, I told her, keep going, it's still too tight, keep going, it's still too tight, keep going. So since she did a lot in one day, I figured out what it was that she was doing. All she was doing, I'm pretty sure, I didn't ask, but I'm like 99% sure, because I could tell a visual difference, is that all she did was she was shaving this down, like shaving this top part down. It's probably pretty hard to tell, but this right here, like, is like half of my front tooth. So that's what I figured out. I was like, so you're telling me this whole time you're not even listening? Because I was being very descriptive with what was wrong, what felt like it was not the right angle, what was tight. Like, I was very descriptive. And meanwhile, I'm explaining all this stuff for you to just go shave off the top of it. What does that accomplish? Like, I suppose it does accomplish a little bit, and it did make it feel a little bit better on my front teeth. Since instead of covering my whole front tooth, it's only covering half. So yes, this does feel a little bit better on my front teeth than it did when I first got it. Actually, I would say it feels a lot better than when I first got it, because let me tell you, it was so painful when I first got it. It was so painful. But I still put it in, and like now, part of it's loose, part of it's still too tight. And then like, it just fell out of my left side. Or If I do this, it fits my front teeth, but like, actually no, if I do that, it fits my front teeth pretty good, but it's not even touching my wisdom teeth. If I do this, now it's touching my wisdom teeth and it feels like it fits okay, other than the fact I'm like too tight here. It's like a bunch of tension. And granted, again, I don't know how exactly these are supposed to, can't even talk. Don't know exactly how these are supposed to fit, but I don't think it should be that it can rock like that and that it can physically fit four of my teeth this way and then I rock it back and now it's touching my wisdom teeth, but it wasn't like 2 seconds ago. Long story short, like, and I explained all, before I left, I literally explained to her, like, it's rocking, it still feels like it's the wrong angle, it still doesn't feel like it fits correctly. Like, well, it's a good thing Kaya left my bed and went to hers because she just threw up all over it. So I am doing laundry. Okay, where was I? I was basically just telling you guys how I explained everything in depth to the lady and like basically flat out said like it doesn't fit right, and she was basically like, oh, like it's fine, like sometimes they rock, sometimes it's like that, and I was like, I don't think so, but okay. So I took her word for it, went home. Like I said, definitely still wasn't as painful, but what I had been doing now, instead of waking up in the middle of the night from pain, I was like unconsciously like taking it out of my mouth in the middle of the night. So I'd wake up and like I would slightly kind of remember waking up and taking it out, but like I was definitely half asleep. So I don't know if my body was like, you need to take this out, or if I was just used to taking it out because before I was taking it out from the pain, or if my body was just like, I don't know. Long story short, my body was half asleep taking it out of my mouth, so I have never successfully slept through an entire night with this in, just because I either wake up from pain, which was the first few times, but then after it got fixed, my body half asleep takes it out of my mouth, so I don't really know why. I tried that for a few days, kind of gave up on it, and have not used it since. And then, okay, so one of my friends, I really wish I would have talked to him about this before I made the decision. Again, going back to my fabulous decision of not going home to research something before spending $500 on it. Stupid me, but so I had this conversation with him after I had already spent the $500, but he basically told me from his research that usually the mouth guards you can buy at a drugstore, which LOL, didn't know that was a thing. I don't know how I'm that stupid that I literally did not know that drugstores sold. Like, this one's from the drugstore. I just didn't know drugstores sold mouth guards. So he was telling me about how, yeah, usually the ones at drugstores are better for TMJ. Like, apparently this is better if you have other issues, but for TMJ specifically, he said that the expensive ones can actually make TMJ worse from, like, just people, he's read stuff online saying that the expensive ones can either make it worse or work the exact same as the cheaper one from the drugstore. So I'm like, okay, cool, good to know. So this is either better or the same for me, and this was only $30. I think this was like $26 compared to my $500 one. So anyway, I decided to get this at the drugstore a few days ago, and you can tell, like, it doesn't look as pretty. There are some nicks, like, kind of up here. It's not like perfectly even or anything. Kind of back here, like, it doesn't look perfect. But let me tell you, I put this in my mouth. It fits. I sound funny. I put it in my mouth and it fits. Like, no back and forth, no, ooh, it feels weird here, but okay here, but too tight here and too loose here. It fits perfectly around. Nothing is weird. It fits. That's all I have to say. The one that costed me $26 fits my mouth and does what it's supposed to do. The one that costed me $500 does not fit my mouth. There's nothing wrong with this one. And all of this to say is, did I have a particularly bad experience with the one from the dentist? Yes. Does everyone have a bad experience with getting one from the dentist? No. Most people probably have a good experience. In fact, one of my friends went to the same dentist and doesn't have any problems with his. And I'm like, okay, like, how do you not have problems and I have all these problems? So yeah, I definitely had a very bad experience with the dentist. I'll actually read you the text because I left a very long and detailed message for them this weekend. And so I knew they were going to say no, but I did ask if I could have a refund. Like, I was like, can I please return this and get a refund? I knew they were going to say no, and they did end up saying no. Didn't hurt to ask though. And they said that the doctor feels it fits correctly, which, okay, I'm sorry, but the doctor only looked at it in my mouth the third time I was there. So, I don't know. Like, I guess and the one time he saw it in my mouth said it fits correctly, which, okay. They said it does take some time to get used to it. It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm still waking up in the middle of the night. Like, I do want to try to give it more of a chance. Like, I want to try to go a whole week with wearing it at night and see if it actually, if I stop waking up in the middle of the night or if it feels any better. But like, I just can't bring myself to like not get sleep for a week. So maybe I'll make an update video. I don't know. We'll see. Then they did say we would be glad to take a new impression, but feel it will fit the same. And that's where I'm torn. Like, I'm so sick of going to this place. I've been there 4 times, and like, who's to say they're not gonna make one the exact same? I don't know. Again, I do think they messed up the mold in my mouth. Again, I don't know. So I don't know if I want to get another impression made or if I want to just forget about it, because here's the thing. Do I need to go back and get another impression made and get another one? No, because this one honestly fits perfectly. Like, I do not need a fancy one. That's the whole point of this video. Sorry if I'm not making it clear. The whole point of this video is if you have TMJ, the ones from the drugstore work. Like, even if the doctor makes you a perfect one, which didn't happen to me, but even if the doctor makes you a perfect one, these can be perfect too. These work. They are so much less money. The one thing about these is it does say they only last 6 months, so like, you do need to repurchase these. But I did the math and I would need to repurchase these for about 7 years until it costed the same as this. And my sister pointed out, like, I feel like it's a little unrealistic to have something like this for 7 years, just because like, there's a chance you're gonna like lose it on vacation or something like that, or drop it and crack it, or I don't know. Like, 7 years for this seems a little long. So like, I feel like this is such a better idea, so much cheaper. Again, I don't know if I want to go back to get another impression made because I feel like it'll just be a waste of my time. Part of me is like, what's the point? I have one that fits, so I do not need one. But part of me is like, I did spend $500 on it, so I kind of want one that actually fits my mouth. Another thing I didn't even touch on, the thing that I'm almost the most mad about is that I don't even technically need one of these, because since I figured out I have TMJ, I've pretty severely, not severely, but I have definitely adjusted my practice routine quite a bit, and my TMJ went away. I don't have any pain. Like, right now, I don't feel like I have TMJ at all. 0, none. It's gone. And that was all from, like, I just made this the other day. Like, I've only worn this last night and that's it. So I haven't been wearing a mouth guard. And like I said, my TMJ went away on its own from, you know, adjusting my practice routine and making sure I'm not practicing for too long in a row. Because I was definitely doing that a little bit, like about a month ago. So that's another reason why I'm like, I don't even know if it's worth it to get another one of these, because honestly, I personally don't think I need to wear it. Since this one actually fits me, I'm gonna start wearing this one to bed because it literally actually fits me, unlike the one from the dentist. I don't know. I don't even know what else I want to say. I guess leave a comment below if you've had a similar experience, or just if you have TMJ in general, what you do for it. If you use the cheap ones, like my friend that told me about all this, he just uses cheap ones. He uses like disposable ones, actually. You know, if you have any tips on what to do. I just wish I could get a refund for this because it's pointless to me. Like, I could throw it out. I'm not going to, since it was $500. But at the same time, why am I keeping it? It is of no use to me. So yeah, I just want to share with you that I hope people watch this video and actually do some research before spending $500, because that's a lot of money that I'm never gonna get back. So I'm hoping that we get another round of stimulus checks so that I like feel a little bit better about wasting $500. That would be nice. I don't know if we're actually getting another $1,200 or not, but if we do, then I will feel a little bit less mad about throwing away $500 down the toilet. So thank you for watching. I just wanted to make this video because it's something I've been thinking about for the past few weeks, something I've been going through. And like I said, my TMJ pain is gone. I have to be careful with how much I practice, but I was able to get rid of my TMJ pain. I mean, you don't get rid of TMJ, it's something I'll have for the rest of my life, but like you can do stuff to help with the pain, which like these are supposed to help with the pain, if you're clenching or biting in your sleep, which I don't even know if I am. But yeah, if you're a musician and have TMJ and you're struggling, like feel free to DM me on Instagram. I can talk to you about what I personally do. The thing that sucks is I have friends, like one of my friends who plays saxophone, like she has TMJ and she's like, oh yeah, once I got my mouth guard, like it went away, like the mouth guard helped a ton. And I'm like, mine went away without using a mouth guard. So part of me is like, do I even have TMJ? Which I do, like I do. Just thought I would share with you my little life update and why you should not buy one of these from the dentist. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye.